Welcome to Piano with Danielle. In this series of videos, I will be explaining about all elements of musical theory. I will be following the Associated Board of the Royal Schools of Music's graded music theory and practice workbooks, but these are just a guide and these videos can be used for general theory questions. In this session, I am going to be talking about rests. A rest is a sign of silence. Music isn't all just about playing notes and making sound. There are also times when the music needs to stop. Imagine an orchestra. If all the instruments were all playing at the same time, there wouldn't be any sections with just strings, or just brass, or a solo, and so on. Let's take a look at the different kinds of rests. Each note we've learned about so far has a rest to go with it. First we have the semibreve, or the whole note rest. You can see that this is a small coloured in rectangle that hangs from the fourth line of the stave. Just like the note, the rest is worth 4 counts. Next we have the minim, or half note, and its rest. This one looks very similar to the semibreve rest. The difference is that this one sits on the third line of the stave. Next we have the crotchet, or quarter note rest. There are 2 ways of drawing the rest. This is the first way, and this is the second way. The first way is a little trickier and takes some practice, but it is the most common. The second style is rarely seen in printed music now. Next, we have the quaver rest. This looks like a number 7 and appears between the second and third spaces of the stave. Finally, we have the semiquaver rest, which is almost the same as the quaver rest, except it has 2 lines, just like the semiquaver note has 2 flags on its stem. So these are all the rests we need to know at this stage. Let's just revise and take one last look at the semibreve and minim rests, as they are so similar. Remember, the semibreve rest hangs from the fourth line of the stave. I always remember this as I imagine a monkey hanging from the stave for this one. The minim rest sits the other way round and sits on the third line of the stave, like a bird sitting on a wire. Another way of remembering the difference is to think about 4 counts being greater than 2. We could say the 4 count is so heavy that it hangs off the line, whilst the 2 count weighs less and just sits comfortably on the third line. Now, before we look at some example questions, just a word of warning. A completely silent bar should always have a semibreve rest. It doesn't matter if the time signature is 2/4, 3/4 or 4/4. If there are no notes in the bar, always use the hanging rest. Don't forget this one, as it's an easy one to get caught out on. Let's now look at some example questions. In this exercise, we need to add 1 rest at the places marked with an asterisk to make the bars complete. Let's have a look at bar 1. We have 1 count here, as 2 quavers make a whole count. We have another count here and another count here. Our time signature is 4/4, so we have 4 crotchet beats in the bar. If we add what we have so far together, we have 3 counts. We therefore need to add a crotchet rest, like so, to make this bar complete. In the next bar, we have 1 count here, 1 count here, half a count here, and 1 count here. In total, that gives us 3.5 counts. We therefore need to add a quaver rest to make this bar complete. In bar 3, we have a minim, so we have 2 counts. We therefore need another 2 counts, so we need a minim rest to complete this bar. This will make this question correct and complete. Let's look at another example. We've got 1 count here and 1 count here. Our time signature is 3/4. We therefore need to put another crotchet rest to complete the bar. Our next bar is completely silent. Remember, our time signature is 3/4. Earlier in this video, we talked that if a whole bar is silent, whatever the time signature, we must use the whole count rest. This therefore means I place the hanging rest in the bar like so. This makes this example correct and complete. As I've mentioned in my previous videos, music is like maths and each bar has to add up. The notes plus the rests need to add up to the time signature as everything must add back. The same applies for piano music. You can't split the rest between the treble and the bass clefs and between the hands. Each bar for each clef must always add up to the time signature. That concludes this session on rests. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, Piano with Danielle, where you will find various other videos to help you on your musical journey. Thank you.